Welcome to the Real Bible Discussion Group channel. Today's guest, Moderator Dr. Paul Jackson. Your host, Leo Alves.
YouTube podcast for Real Bible Discussion Group. We're here with Paul today, Dr. Paul Jackson.
Yes.
Jackson. We're here to do an interview with one of the administrators of the Real Bible Discussion Group, a Facebook group that we have. It's a large group, and Paul is one of the administrators here. Hi, Paul.
Hey, good to meet you.
So, Paul, I take that. Where are you located?
I'm located in Florida.
Florida. Okay.
United
so
States.
US, United States, Florida. All right. Well, thanks for being here. Thanks for participating on this YouTube.
Thanks for having me.
Yep. So how did you get to know the Real Bible Discussion Group?
Yeah. Quite honestly, I was looking around different debate groups. I joined a lot of groups, and I found this one specifically. And I was like, wow, this is quite large. This is quite cool. It's very nice to see so many people interacting. There's a lot of posts, that was for certain. And it was nice to see people really actually asking questions and stuff like that. And after a minute, it was nice to kind of see like, wow, this group isn't pushing anything specific. It was very open, very worldwide. It was nice to see something so constructive, like it was a tool almost to say. And I said, wow, this is pretty cool. And then one day there was a post about helping, or I approached somebody, I can't remember. And I said, here I am. And so that's how the journey started.
Volunteering. Yeah, it's hard to find people to help in the group. As you know, now that you've been there, how long have you been administrated in the group?
Maybe 2 years. I can't remember.
Yeah. Oh, thanks for all the help. Yeah, we
problem.
couldn't do it without you guys or without people volunteering to do this work.
Yeah.
So yeah, do you participate in a particular church? Do you have a denomination?
Yeah. So I was raised Catholic. I went to Lutheran school, and I went to a Baptist college. And so that's non-denominational, but mainly Baptist. And I've kind of been through almost most of the denominations out there. I have attended Eastern Orthodox before. I've been a Presbyterian. I've been to many non-denominational places and churches. And I would say myself, I am a traditional Baptist by what I believe, and that's where I sit. But I'm very much a complementarian. I have no issue, talking with anybody, from anyone who's, wants to, affirm the church together in a way.
Right.
And I just stray away from people who are in the cult situation. That's the thing I stray away from.
Yeah. So you're raised Catholic, and you made a transition to Baptist.
Yeah, it was like, it's one of those situations where I always had a ecumenical view of Christianity. Obviously, if they're, in my opinion, it was like the Nicene Creed was very much a big thing that kind of connected everyone together in a way. And, the Protestant church believes it, the Orthodox church believes it, the Catholic church believes in it. And I very much, I always wanted to serve God since a very young age, since a 5. And I knew that my life is in his hands, and I've been there to serve him ever since. And I just love learning the different ways and methodologies and everything that everyone goes about this, from metaphysics all the way down to different theological concepts, to theology. I mean, whatever it is, I've studied a lot. I've studied almost most of the world's religions too, but definitely always a practicing Christian at all times.
Okay. All right. So, yeah, you're pretty much the same with me. I was raised Catholic, made a change to the evangelical later, which is seminary here in Boston. Baptist church. It was a member of a Baptist church for a while. Well, here we are. So, You start off as a moderator, or you went straight to administrator of this group, the Real
Oh,
Bible.
I'm still in the moderation thing. I've
Oh,
never
you're still in
asked to
moderation.
become. I never
Okay.
asked to become an admin. I don't mind. Doesn't make a difference to me.
Yeah,
So
it's not a
everything
lot of
gets done the
difference.
same.
Yeah, the two posts. The moderator is very. The moderator position is one of the most important because you moderate.
Yeah.
You're uh, you don't participate on a few of the decisions the administrators will do, but we rely on moderators to, and it's not an easy job. I'll
No,
tell you that much, especially in the group that is. We aim to be unbiased, so
correct.
it's very hard. And, people get very passionate about their beliefs,
Yes.
and that's a challenge for a lot of the moderators,
Hmm.
especially the new ones who think I'm going to a Bible discussion group and everything will be nice and peaceful, right?
Hmm.
We see that that's not always the case. So,
Correct.
uh, on that topic, what has been your biggest challenge in moderating a large group like this?
I definitely will say it's kind of the strangest one. The most difficult one currently is prayer. For instance, it's difficult when I see posts that are specifically asking for prayers, and you just don't they don't fit particularly into this group because we're here to discuss the Bible. We're
Right.
here to, it's not as much as a specific fellowshipping group. People can fellowship if they choose to, but the idea is it's hard sometimes. I say the most difficult one is definitely sometimes having to decline some prayer posts because there's a lot of people who are asking not usually for a genuine reason. You kind of tell they're just trying to push their agenda, or they're trying to do something else. They're not like in a real deep seated situation. But there's some people who are in those deep seated situations. And obviously, those ones are a little hard to kind of go through because you're like, okay, you hope that they have a church that they're connected with. You hope all those things are together. But, that one's one of the most difficult ones but so what I do is I pray. So I
Right.
pray before, the situation. I say, hey, look, we can discuss things or something. I give a suggestion specifically for them to make a discussion or whatever it is, and so they can kind of interact a little bit that way. Because there's nothing wrong with talking about the situations or situations like, biblically how they align up together. If you're waiting for something, or you're asking for something, how does God provide healing in these situations, and you can ask people what's their opinion and all this.
Mhm.
That can create interaction. Sometimes we need that interaction. Not everyone's hearing God every single second. You know what I mean? We need to make sure that we're there for each other and interacting, and a discussion can cause that. So you hope it all goes well in those situations. You have faith, and you keep going. Other difficult one is there's a lot of, how to put it, adult content, bad scamming things. That's another hard one. I mean, sometimes there's some stuff that is so disgusting. Like there's one that took a cake 3 months ago. It's just like, my goodness, like it's pretty bad. So there's a lot of scammers out there trying to push bad content, and we have to protect the group from that being digested or sent out. We have to kind of eliminate that. Another hard one is definitely when people are asking for money or situations like that, and a lot of times it is scams. And it's one of those situations, but you never perfectly know. You never perfectly know. So those ones are hard. But you in this group, due to its size, you kind of see everything. Um, and I would say the one that you kind of get used to is, I would call it the loaded question. A lot of people are sometimes they act like they're discussing something. Reality is they're kind of pushing some sort of agenda towards this
Mhm.
way. I
Right.
love the genuine questions to people who want to grow, but a lot of people are just asking a question that's got a bullet in the chamber, so to say,
Right.
and you kind of know it's loaded, but you're like, okay. I mean, it's kind of like, well, I have to decline the prayer one, but I have to accept the one that's got the bullet loaded, ready for the person who disagrees with them. I'm like, all right, well,
Right.
this is what it is. But you kind of, you pray in those both situations. Obviously, you just hope the best comes of it, and something's going out there, and you just hope that pride does not abound. Is that's the situation? Because you see the difference between the genuine humility of some, and others who are just trying to literally get famous and make money and stuff like
Right.
that. And it's kind of like, oh, this is, it's something important to know about with this group. I mean,
Right.
and it's sometimes because people can loop themselves into it and abide by the rules, it kind of gets in. I mean, it's not a perfect
Right.
system. It's not like due to the sheer volume, there's no way you can truly kind of discern every single person's intentions, right?
Mhm.
It just would be almost impossible.
So,
Um, yeah,
what is your background in terms of in general, like you
academically.
academically?
Okay, sure. So I am a clinical pharmacist and
Hmm.
I specialize specifically in pharmacogenomics and compounding.
Hmm.
I am part owner of a pharmacy and we provide concierge services. And I was recently for doing for many years sterile compounding specifically. And so now I have collaborative agreements with other physicians. So I'm practicing at that level where I'm able to exercise myself in a different way.
Oh,
And so it's pretty unique. It's pretty fun to be amongst a couple other peers who have the same licensure ability. And yeah, so doing that, I also am a clinical assistant professor volunteer at University of Florida. So I go out and help the students and that's fun. I love my students and I love talking to them and helping them with their careers and going off. It's fun because I've been doing it for like I think 6 or 7 years now, and
wow.
you get to see the students grow up and
Right.
go into their residencies and they're getting jobs and they're getting houses and it's nice to kind of see the person going from what am I doing here type of thing to
Well
having
done.
that
Well
growth.
done. Yeah. Well.
I've taken college courses and specifically, Bible history and other stuff that, I went to a Christian college and I've done post things, other words too, just make sure I'm studying as much as possible.
Well, thanks
And
for
it's,
sharing all that.
yeah,
Very, very, very. Uh, it's nice to get to know the
mhm,
administrators and a little better. Thank you so much. Uh,
sure.
back to discussions in terms of one of the jobs of the moderator is to
Mhm,
uh, intervene in the discussion when things are going south, right?
yes.
Let's say two people are going at each other and
Mhm,
they're about to violate or already violating the rules.
yes.
One of our jobs is to uh, get in there when we see it and
Mhm,
bring peace back to the place and possibly uh, you know restore the conversation to a peaceful state. So how do
mhm.
you manage to do that? Do you have any techniques you use? How do you advise other uh, younger moderator in the group to go about this?
Yeah, I mean, interestingly enough, I'm the one who interacts the least with the comments. I try to keep the biggest distance away. I try to be in the shadows the very most. I read every single thing when it comes into those situations. And either mostly I would private message the person instead versus trying to add on to the chain. That
Hmm.
because the chain sometimes it gets lost into the chasm of what it's developing into.
Right.
And a lot of times when I'm intervening with it, it's usually a warning or like use the suspension system to try to be like, hey, give them a little quick something like, look, this is what's going on. I've talked to both parties. And like, for instance, the other day I had a situation where I had to talk to both people. And so it's almost as though I don't do the comment to try to perpetuate it. I try to solve it first. Then once I've gotten both sides, I
Yeah.
then say, look, can you be kind to one another and move on to the situation? And so then I go and I deliver it that way. But as you've instructed, we keep the comments, no matter how horrible they are, we keep them up there as evidence of situation so we understand what's the character and what's the situation we're dealing with. If something needs to move to like they need to get out because there's something really bad happening. But like that's usually it. I usually try to do it PM version because it tends to bring the person out of the argument and into like an environment where they're kind of being listened to. So it's not just They're trying to chat it up, because sometimes the people are gonna show off in a comment versus in a private message. They got no one else to show off, and sometimes
Right.
they're aggressive, sometimes they're mean, sometimes they're not so nice. But most funny enough, this is in this group, I haven't had that many, how to put it, sociopathic interactions.